is it possible that a random YouTuber predicted everything that's going on right now with Iran, Israel, US? How would one do that? And why haven't I really spoken about Iran in general? Because they're not the important ones. And I'm going to show you what's really going on, what they don't want you to know. And this video will likely be taken down or suppressed, so you need to share it. And every single American needs to see this and see what's really going on with our taxpayer dollars, and why the heck does Israel keep stealing our technology and selling it to China and Russia, and nobody's talking about it. But they're our allies, right? It amazes me every day that I see people saying, oh, we must do this in Iran, we must do this to whatever because of Israel. Iran's not going to blow up Israel. Iran's not going to do anything. How do I know? Because they've all been working on the Belt and Road Initiative for decades. They're playing us. And that weird guy standing behind Trump during that BS talk about we're going to stand down if Iran stands down, that really was interesting. It's weird that he looks like Prince Andrew, but he just seems like a spook. He doesn't even seem like a military general, but he might be, who knows. But there's something really weird going on there. This information is important, and every single American needs to know about it, especially military. If you are in the military, I want to know, why the heck do generals not know about this? And if they do know about it, they are compromised. Because every aspect of our military, not just our military, of our technology, every single computer, every single phone, every single TV, everything has been infiltrated. We essentially no longer have control of it because they've built backdoors into all of our intel. You know, we saw this with the USS Fitzgerald, USS McCain investigation, where Vessel Finder, everything was just completely bizarre. And then that's when we found out that, holy crap, it's been infiltrated. It's not even working. Our US Navy is using this information to track our vessels, to know where other vessels are, and it's garbage. I mean, it's horrific. It's so deep, and people think it's so surface level, like Iran with their missiles. Come on, it's all show. And so many of us know this, but our videos aren't getting out. The people that talk about this stuff, so the only reason that to get this stuff out is to share it with bigger channels, and military news needs to put this stuff out. Our generals, not all of our generals know about this. Not all of our admirals know about this. They're good little soldiers doing what they're told. And sometimes it takes a lower level person to say, hey, Captain, can you take a look at this? Because this doesn't seem right. How come all of our technology is being sold to Russia and China? Via who? Via who is the question. Why is that? How? How would they get it? You think they sent a whole bunch of Chinese people in here, Alex Jones? Yeah, Alex Jones does believe that. But no, that's not who they sent here. It's the Talpiot program. It's Unit 8200 out of Israel. All of our R&D, our research and development centers are in Tel Aviv. They're not in the US. Microsoft, Intel, all of these things. They came in here, Wall Street, all of them. And we still have a fighting chance if people stand up and say, what is going on? But if we don't, then we don't have a chance. So please stop giving all this attention to this phony circus show of Iran. And let's get on with this information. And you need to share it, y'all. And I'm going to make a playlist of videos to help you even understand more of it. And stuff that you can share that is a lot more well produced than my videos. I just want to get this out to y'all because it's so important. Alright, let's check it out.
The stars have aligned for an Israeli-Iran war. Alex Jones at his best. Alright, I'm going to counter this narrative very quickly and very simply. I'm going to tell you what's happening. How arrogant of me. How smug of me, people. So you're so smug. We hate you, O'Connell. Good.
Arrogant? Yes, he probably is. Knowledgeable? Absolutely. And honestly, we need people that are a bit arrogant to continue fighting, because the people that aren't give up easily. So continue, Brendan.
I hate John McEnroe. And every night she would watch that tennis game with John McEnroe.
Second stuff, please.
Answer my question! The question, jerk!
God rest my maternal grandmother, Gwyneth, a great lady. She taught me that technique. Look, here's what's going to happen. It's theatre. I call it the TTS, the two Steves. Steve Bannon and Dr. Steve Pieczenik. I seriously doubt whether Steve Bannon even left the group. I seriously do. Whatever. But they're both Hollywood producers and scriptwriters. That's Dr. Steve Pieczenik and Steve Bannon.
At my direction, the United States military eliminated the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani.
Who read from a script. Iran and Israel are war theatre. I did a video about this a while ago, back in March, in fact a year ago, after coming back from Iran, where I voiced my extreme suspicions about specifically the Rouhani government. Now that government, under Rouhani and his foreign minister Zarif, Rouhani spent 6 years in London hanging with Jack Straw, who hangs with Lord Levi, who hangs with Lord Jacob Rothschild, and Zarif, who spent 20 years in the United States, are clearly cooperating with Israel at some level. Clearly. Do you seriously believe Iran could think it could move all the way to the border of Israel and start putting little bases in and start shaking their little fists with their little Hezbollah man, their little drone Hassan Nasrallah, who goose steps and Hitler salutes around the place, who brag that their youth-based system is based on the Hitler Youth? They think they can just sit on the border and threaten to rain down 100,000 missiles on Tel Aviv and go, ha 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 ha, you better watch out. Talking smack to, of all people, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likudnik neocons. You got to be kidding me. You're asking for a slapping. I want to know if you believe that is not a setup of setups. The Jewish state versus the Islamic state. It's a setup. And what's going to happen without going into too many details? You're going to see the build up to war, the fear porn. Oh my God, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. The usual suspects, all the online media, very serious times. Very serious times. Panic, panic, panic. In walks Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, there's going to be some missile strikes, the IRGC, because the US, of course, is in the region. So the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the Iranian proxy forces will start getting majorly slapped by US and Israeli high technology, which is unstoppable, unstoppable, unbeatable. It's light years ahead of anybody's Anybody's, a 2-year-old who reads Jane's Defense Weekly and knows a little bit about US technology, military technology, can tell you this. All right? Russia can't invent a broomstick. It's got to be stolen. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, Russians, my lovely Slav friends, but Russia can't invent a broomstick. It's all been handed to them from day dot, and that includes China. Everything it has, it gets from the West, handed to them or stolen. I'm sorry to upset you. As the slapping continues with Netanyahu, it's child's play for him. Israel is going to threaten to rain down 100,000 missiles. The Lebanese media, here's a quick extract. It's in Arabic, but the guy is actually saying, laughing at the Iranian government for burning a little flag in the parliament. He says, why don't you blow up Israel? You keep saying you're going to blow up Israel. For 20 years we've heard this. Israel's dead. We're going to get them. They're laughing at Nasrallah. You keep hearing how popular Hassan Nasrallah and Hezbollah are in Lebanon. You're mistaken. Yes, they certainly do have some popularity. A lot of Lebanese are sick of it. That's telling Nasrallah to shut his mouth. You start talking smack and threatening the cataclysm, the existential end of the state of Israel and the, quote, Jewish people. Once you engender the Holocaust narrative of the ultimate ending of all the Jews and so on and so forth, you're done. Israel can't compete in a counterinsurgency hand-to-hand combat. No one can touch Hezbollah and Hamas in that. These people are willing to die. It's a script. That's a Hollywood producer, scriptwriter script. What can I tell you? So that's roughly what's going to happen. It's that predictable. You dumbasses in the alt media that keep perpetuating this garbage over and over again, right? That Iran and Putin are working against, it's all alike. They are working together. It's theatre. At the very top, it's theatre via the informal Rothschild private intelligence network. It's the grand chessboard, the great game. This is what is going on.
So that was just a very small touch. Now let's get into what they are actually working on together, what they're really doing, and what every single American needs to know. Also, they just put out that Ukrainian plane flew right into a missile from, come on, that's insane. It's not possible. This is wag the dog, like, watch the entire movie. That's exactly what this is. Change the script and people will believe it and keep doing, and let's get into the important stuff. Alright, let's start here. First of all, it's pretty sad that Christians for Truth and YouTubers are having to put out this very important information that our generals and admirals should know about. How did Israeli Jews develop backdoor access to nearly all our computers? You can go ahead and pause this if you want to go through each one. I will try to link all of these articles. It's mind-boggling how this is still going on. Everything you communicate electronically with is stored and analyzed by Israel. In addition, the Bolshevik Israeli Russians are stealing America's technology. A tiny ARC processor is sitting within the Intel CPU with its own custom version of the Linux operating beyond the software level, completely transparent to the end user. It does not matter if you're using Windows, Linux, or Apple iOS. You are toast, and this is how Israel does it. It's all part of the Talpiot program. No one is safe. No one. AMD has the exact same system, platform security system, and that is now totally owned and run by China. The entire world's cloud-based internet system is backdoored by Israel. This is national security disaster. They have a kill switch, the world's infrastructure. Russia, China, Israel, and with some extent, Iran, are all working together, all to complete the Belt and Road Initiative, and using our taxpayer dollars and our intelligence to do this. But yet they're our allies. Wake up. They are not. And we need to start speaking out. Israel's former Soviet immigrants transform adopted country. They have influenced the high-tech industry. All of the research and development firms are now in Tel Aviv. They're not in Silicon Valley. American jobs are going to Israel. All our high-tech jobs, and the ones that aren't, they're sending 8,200 soldiers. That's essentially equivalent to sending CIA operatives into another country and having them infiltrate all of their military intelligence. Yet they're letting them do this right in front of our faces, under the guise of them being our allies.
So how many of these graduates from Unit 8200 are running around the United States? The Israeli daily paper Haaretz explains it beautifully. On November 12, 2017, they wrote this: "Veterans of Israeli Army's elite code-breaking unit are New York's best-kept secret. Some 400 alumni of the IDF's high-tech Unit 8200 are now working in and around Manhattan. They face a unique challenge, showcasing their skills while maintaining a low profile about their Army past." Reporter Haim Handwerker goes on. "As I entered the spacious loft on the outskirts of Soho, the initial reception I received was decidedly unfriendly. An Israeli Wall Street veteran, a graduate of the Army's elite technological 8200 unit, asked firmly, 'What are you doing here? Journalists shouldn't be here.' Not a particularly warm welcome, especially as I had been formally invited. This was the inaugural gala event of Unit 8200 vets living in New York. About 400 of them are in the city, I was told, more than anywhere else in the United States. Someone estimated there are a further 200 in Silicon Valley and another 100 in the Boston area. It's no surprise that so many 8200 graduates choose New York, since the high-tech and startup industry here is booming and it's a cool place for high-tech folk to be." SOSA New York CEO Guy Franklin, whose company offers a gateway into the US high-tech scene and who personally devised a map showing where New York's Israeli startups are based, says some 350 Israeli-controlled high-tech firms currently operate in the city. These firms range in size from startups to mature companies, and he estimates that about 5,000 Israelis are working in startups here, all of which means there's a relatively large concentration of 8200 alumni in the Israeli high-tech community. Now let's stop right here. I want you to think about that paragraph. There are 5,000 Israeli graduates working in startups here. So there are at least 5,000 Israelis working in startups, that's cyber technology, in New York alone. 5,000. How many are formal employed members of the Russian intelligence services? How many are intimately linked with New York Crown Heights and the infamous Chabad Lubavitch? The raving, lunatic, racist, supremacist nutcases, Hasidim, ultra-Orthodox Jews based out of Russia, best friends with Benjamin Netanyahu, Vladimir Putin, and Donald Trump. This is the real Russiagate. It gets better. It's certainly not unusual to find Israeli Defence Force units raising money in the United States. The leading fundraiser, of course, is the Friends of the IDF, which raises tens of millions of dollars every year at various events throughout the United States. Now listen closely to this paragraph. There's no doubt that 8,200 alumni living in the United States have connections. Most of them work in high-tech, but some work on Wall Street, some are lawyers, etc. The idea was to take advantage of the connections 8,200 alumni may have with the business world, whether that be venture capital funds, high-tech firms, investors, potential clients, or any other contact that might help 8,200 SB participants progress. The journalist goes on, among the unit's alumni, there are those who think it preferable that former 8,200 members in New York maintain a low profile, in order to protect their security and maintain the unit's secretive image. They are aware that the presence of so many alumni in the Big Apple is hardly a state secret, but there's no reason to attract excess attention. In any case, they asked me not to take photographs and said photos would be supplied by the organisers. Anyone who didn't want to be photographed wasn't. And the truth is, the military background of the unit's alumni is also liable to prompt questions. Israelis living abroad are often perceived as being Mossad agents. We can assume that this is simply not true in over 99% of the cases, but 8,200 alumni who talk about their past are liable to encounter a reaction accompanied by a mischievous smile. Ah, you work for the Mossad. Who needs the hassle? On the other hand, there's a big advantage when an alumni tells people from the business world that he or she served in Unit 8,200. It's certainly likely to impress the people they contact, assuming of course these people know what this magic number represents and what the unit does. So when it's convenient and it's useful, they talk about their time in 8,200. When it isn't, or it doesn't suit the economic or social interest, or just the ego, they adhere to the culture of secrecy. The end, and thank you, Haim, handworker of Haaretz. Boy, wasn't that interesting. Fact is, they're not just shifting Silicon Valley to Silicon Wadi in Israel. They're keeping it local too, but much more easy to control and infiltrate in New York, where the New York, New Jersey, Russian-Israeli mob dominates. They don't call New York Moscow on the Hudson for nothing. And it's always handy to have Chabad Lubavitch so close in Crown Heights. You remember Chabad Lubavitch? Jared and Ivanka Kushner? Their favourite racist, psychotic, lunatic, ultra-Orthodox sect of Judaism? The worldwide intelligence outfit working for Russia, founded in Russia, posing as an extremist religious cult? Yeah, that Chabad Lubavitch. The same Chabad Lubavitch associated with Australia's own Diamond Joe Goodnick, the richest Lubavitcher on the planet. Specialising in blood diamonds and gold, great way to transfer around the world drug money funds, especially in diamonds. Diamond Joe was implicated heavily in the funding of the Likud party coffers under Ariel Sharon and Benjamin Netanyahu many years ago. Some of us can remember Chabad Lubavitcher based in Melbourne, Victoria, the state of Australia, Mr. Nachum Goldberg, who laundered well over $100 million of drug money for the Likud party. This is what Chabad Lubavitch do. They're a Russian organised crime sect posing as a religious psychotic nutcase cult. I'm going to stop right there. It goes on forever, but you see the connections. Weapons trade, drug money laundering, casinos, and on and on and on. So now you have a basic grasp of a few particulars. Particularly the close relationship between Israel and Russia and Israeli military intelligence high technology training programs. Once you understand this, everything else will fall into place. Israel is a former Soviet republic, now part of the Russian Federation, not the 51st state of the United States. We'll go into the founding of the Israeli state by emigres from the old Russian Empire later, in parts to come. Here are just three of the approximately 10,000 graduates of the various Israeli military intelligence high technology programs currently running around the planet making Israel greater. My personal fave and poster boy for the subject is Asaf Rapoport. Rapoport is CEO of Microsoft Israel and graduate of both the Telpiot program and Unit 8,200. If you don't know what the Telpiot program is, then please visit my YouTube channel and watch Israel's secret weapon, the Telpiot program. Rappaport had a company called Adalom specializing in cloud security. He sold it to Microsoft in 2015. Adalom means last line of defense in Hebrew. Here's a short clip.
The biggest problem of moving your data to the cloud is the lack of visibility and the lack of control and protection that you have. You are responsible for the data, but you cannot control it. And this is a gap for organization. This is what they are facing today. I'm Asaf Rappaport. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Adalom. Adalom is a SaaS security company that enables organizations to govern and to protect their data in any cloud application that they're using. The cloud revolution is here to stay. Primary applications, such as, of course, CRM and collaboration and email and HR, all of them are moving to the cloud, are already in the cloud, transparent to the user. Your user are going to use the same URL as they did before without them knowing about. Actually, the provider reroutes the traffic through Adalom, and we are providing back all the capabilities, control, governance, and visibility into all the activities that are happening. It's transparent to the user, it's transparent to the IT, and it's super simple to implement and deploy. So this is the first thing. The second thing is the breadth of application that we have. So we provide all the visibility, governance, and security to the widest breadth of applications. And the third thing, and actually is the most important thing, this is the only solution that actually works, because we are the only vendor who actually showed in the wild found attacks going from compromised devices, the Zeus attack, to Office 365, identity vulnerabilities, and many variety of things. The three founders, Ami, Roy, and myself, came from the 8200 unit. It's the cybersecurity unit of the Israeli Defense Forces. So our DNA is security, and this is what we bring from the Homeland Security to the enterprise environment.
Did you hear that?
Because we are the only vendor who actually showed in the wild found attacks going from compromised devices, the Zeus attack, to Office 365, identity vulnerabilities, and many variety of things.
He said they were the only vendor to find attacks in the wild, meaning he and his friends made the attack and then they found it. Boy, talk about smashing windows for your Windows repair business. Pun intended. And yes, the cloud, and please state the cloud with air quotes,
the cloud,
is the future. Because that AI machine learning monster they are basing in Israel will need access to all the real-time data it can get its hands on. Rappaport was funded originally by the Rambam, or granddaddy of the whole Telpiot and Israeli high-tech program, Zohar Zissapel. Remember him? I featured him in my original video on Israel and Telpiot. Zissapel is the founding father of the current Israeli high-technology industry, and his company, Rad Group, controlled the cybersecurity of just about everything. From banking to ATMs to hospitals to critical infrastructure to telecoms, you name it, Rad Group are allegedly protecting it. This company is enormous with up to 27 subgroups. They are everywhere, and let me guess, you've never heard of them. Adalom is the basis for the upcoming win by Microsoft in the bid for the $10 billion JEDI, or Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure, Pentagon Central Server Cloud contract. Oh joy, you can see where this is going, can't you? And when they win the contract, which I suspect they were always going to do, then I bet it will all be coded and run from Soviet Israel. Right in the same building as they write the code and update Windows from, and its associated products. Oh my. George!
Oh my.
Right now it's Microsoft and Amazon head to head. And don't worry, if Amazon wins the contract, the US Department of Defense will still be just as f***ed. In Australian IT parlance, the Pentagon cloud will be officially wanked in no time, even if Julian is sharing a bunk with Big Jimmy and Laurie the lad, doing porridge in Her Majesty's. And I hear Yevgeny Kaspersky and his friends just discovered their Jewish roots and have already put in their job applications to both companies. I'm sure Israeli personnel background checks at both Microsoft and Amazon are really thorough when you're checking old friends from Russia. Which reminds me of the WikiLeaks drop from US State Department files regarding former Defense and Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman and his close friendship with Vladimir Putin. Perhaps that's why he was unceremoniously dumped from the Likud cabinet after this matter was pushed by a group of people to various media, security and military outlets. And no, we didn't post anything to Facebook. So not only will Asaf Rapoport be updating your Windows operating system whether at home or in the big corporate setting, maybe with the Boeing fly-by-wire software system.
We're at 26,000 feet. We are in a vertical dive.
Not only will Mr. Rapoport be updating that,
but we've lost vertical control of our airplane.
filling updates with clever backdoors, which they can claim are unfortunate programming errors. Asaf and his friends from Unit 8200 Israeli/Russian military intelligence will be giving exclusive Hillary Clinton email server backdoor access to the Pentagon cloud.
The cloud.
Because good old-fashioned Americans are just way too stupid to do it themselves down at Palo Alto and Stanford. They got to call in an ethnic Russian Israeli and do all the work in a foreign hostile country called Israel, where once American engineering and technology marvels like the 1963 all-titanium turbo ramjet Mach 4 Plus, yes, Mach 4 Plus, 100,000 foot plus ceiling SR-71 Blackbird spy plane, those are the real numbers by the way, which was really a spaceship in disguise.
The SR-71 Blackbird, the world's fastest stealth spy plane. It flew faster than a rifle bullet. 3 times the speed of sound.
It looks like it's part spaceship, part airplane. And when you see it in the air, it's a piece of artwork.
Even now, 50 years later, it's still the fastest and highest man has ever flown without rocket propulsion.
The Blackbird is the iconic aircraft of high-speed supersonic cruise.
It was a multi-million-dollar gamble that stretched 60s aviation technology to the limits.
Incredibly forward-thinking design on this. No high-powered, computers. Just rooms of people with slide rules and calculators.
The thing that's special about the Blackbird was it was all miracles.
Blackbird pilots risked their lives to fly at the edge of the possible.
It was just breathtaking when we realized what we were going to be doing.
These basically became sentinels, if you will, for the free world.
Its greatest legacy, helping maintain peace when the world was on the brink of nuclear war.
Despite America leading the world in such things, they are now complete incompetence and require Russian Orthodox Christians posing as Israeli Jews to come rescue them. And we might wonder about the deep Israeli involvement in the $1 trillion F-35 development program, mightn't we? We might also wonder where all that money went. So, with Mr. Rapoport and his Unit 8200 friends in both Tel Aviv and New York keeping American critical infrastructure and the DoD cloud service safe, I'm sure America is in good hands, and we must wonder just who won that Cold War. Coming in part 3, will President Trump pull up those scallywags down at the Department of Defense?
I would like to welcome you right now inside the Department of Defense.
Probably not.
Construction began, ironically, on September 11th, 1941.
What are they doing at DoD?
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
We'll go into Sheldon Adelson, casino drug money launderer, special friend of the IDF, and one hell of a special friend to Israel and his School of Entrepreneurship, a commercial spy school in Herzliya, just next door to the Mossad building. We'll go into private intelligence networks, private armies. We'll go into the mega spy group, a collection of Israeli-American Jewish billionaires who back Trump and Netanyahu, and the opposition when it suits. But most of all, we'll go into the University of Chicago and the old Professor Wolfstadter network and the good old Neo-Con network, the spiritual sons of Professor Wolfstadter, who you've most likely never heard of. Hang in there, more to come.
Do y'all see what's going on here? Y'all see it? I mean, this is insane. It is insane. And I want people to not put, oh, it's the Jew, it's the Jew. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Because that's how we won't get this information out. You need to make sure that you are talking about the Israeli government and their spy, Unit 8200, all of these things. Don't just say it's the Jew. It's not the kosher deli guy. That's not who it is. It's these Netanyahu lackeys and that are all connected to Russia and China. They're all like, yeah, we're best buds. But, we act like they're our enemies. They are ours. They are. But Israel is just like playing us like a fiddle. We could easily fix this, but that would be too humiliating for our president to do. It'd be very easy. It'd be so easy. You know how? You cut them off. Bring everything home. Bring all of our soldiers home. Put them in Guatemala and put them on the border. Say I'm sorry to Venezuela. Say, hey, you know what? Let's make the Western Hemisphere dominate. Because we've already got Brazil doing it. So Brazil, Venezuela, oil, gold, coltan, everything we need is right here in the Americas. We don't need their shady back dealings. We don't need it at all. And that nonsense about us being energy independent is just garbage. We're not energy independent. We're exporting a whole lot of oil and gas. Woohoo! We're also importing a whole lot from Saudi Arabia and 20 other countries. When we wouldn't even need to if we just said, hey Venezuela, sorry about all this trying to overthrow your government. Let's be friends. Put our military in Guatemala, clean up the messes that they have made since the 70s with all of the cocaine and drugs, just all of this stuff. We can do this. There has to be a plan though. We can't have people just making these videos, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this sucks, this sucks. We need a plan. And that plan is going to work. As long as we unite. And unite with, no matter what the person's religion, color, creed, whatever. It's about what's on the inside. Yeah, there are many Jewish people here that don't support what Israel's doing. Many. There are rabbis here that don't support what's going on there. And they know what's going on. They're not stupid, but they don't want to be killed. So a lot of people stay out of it because a lot of people have been killed over speaking about things like this. We must have a plan, and all these YouTubers with these gosh darn Q and oh gracious, they're just ranting and telling you this stuff. They're just giving you information without a plan. And it's like, oh, well, Trump's our only hope. If Trump's your only hope, then you probably have no hope left. We need to rise up and say enough is enough. Let's do this. Because we can. We have the infrastructure to be able to do all of these things. But we've taken advantage of it for so long. And now we're seeing it fall apart and nobody knows what to do. We have let these countries infiltrate, subvert the U.S. in so many ways. And the elites don't really care because it's not going to affect them. So even if they do know about it and they're like, oh, this kind of sucks, they're not going to do anything until we make noise about it. So this was just a taste of what's going on. I'm going to leave a link to the playlist that I have made of other people's videos that are much more knowledgeable about this topic and do a better job at presenting it. But y'all, we've got to do this. We can do this. But we must unite, because every aspect of our country has been infiltrated and subverted. And it's not just from one country. It's from many. Anyway, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe.